Today I'm taking some discarded stuff out of my recycling bin and I'm going to transform it into an adorable pumpkin. I've got an old grocery bag that was thrown out and some packing paper. Let's get transforming this. We're going to stuff that plastic bag full of that packing paper, and then I'm going to take my twine and I'm going to start forming it into a pumpkin. And there's no right or wrong way of doing this. Pumpkins are never perfect. So if it looks a little bit wonky and a little bit lumpy here and there, that's okay. We can fix it along the way. Now I'm going to get out my masking tape, and everywhere where I put that twine that formed the pumpkin, I'm going to put the masking tape over top of that twine. And you want to kind of pull it quite tight so it's all snug. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to do each one of those pieces of twine and stuffing the bag in where I need to and smoothing it out. You can also use some painter's tape or some duct tape, just whatever you have in your stash. And we're just going to work away that whole pumpkin, and we're also going to form the top of that stem and just wrap some tape around it also. I want the stem to have a little bit more of a curled form to it, so I'm taking some aluminum foil. I'm going to scrunch it around, and then I can mold it into the shape. I want it to be a little bit twisted, and I'm leaving some at the bottom too, because that's going to be the base of our stem that we're going to paper mache also. So just get creative and form that aluminum foil around the stem. Now we're ready to paper mache. I've got this packing paper and I like to rip it in strips, and I like to have each side of the strip be torn. You don't want to have a straight edge. So I'm just going to rip them up in all kinds of different sizes and shapes. Let's start doing some paper mache. I've mixed together a batch of my paper mache paste. I have a full tutorial that I've just posted. I'll put the link down below and you can get that recipe, and it works fantastic. And then you're just going to take your strips and you're just going to lay them every which way on your pumpkin until you have it completely covered. You can overlap it, you can go up and down and sideways. In the end, when we're finished, you want to have 5 or 6 layers of this packing paper pasted on your pumpkin. If you don't put it on thick enough, it's not going to be firm and solid. So I'm going to work away, get this first layer completely on, and then you don't have to wait for it to dry. You can go on and put your second layer on, and then your third layer, and so on until like I said, I like to do 5 or 6 layers. I have all of the layers of paper mache on, and it's already really taking form, and I love it. Now, I like to use a Lazy Susan, and I've got a little vase to prop it up on. As you're paper macheing, it's easier to spin it around and add it than just trying to hang on to it. I let it completely dry. Now I'm going to flip it over because we haven't done the paper mache on the bottom yet. And I'm going to go ahead now and put that 5 or 6 layers on the bottom, blending it in with the paper mache strips that we did on the top. And using that Lazy Susan, you can spin it around as you work, and it makes the job much easier. Now I'm using packing paper, but you can also use newspaper, magazine pages, old paper that you're not using anymore. You can rip into strips. You don't need to go out and buy any certain type of paper. Just use what you have in your craft room. And here we are. This is all finished and completely dry. Now I've mixed together some of my paper mache clay. I also have a full tutorial on that if you want to grab that recipe and try this yourself. Now, the reason I'm using the paper mache clay now is it will help smooth out your project, or you can add more details. The nice thing about the clay is you can make it as thin as you want or thicker, and you can use it and mold pieces and add lumps and bumps to your project. This one, I'm just kind of using it to smooth out my pumpkin and make it look more authentic. I'm just using my fingers to get in there and smooth it around. Now I mixed a bit more thicker so I could raise up the stem on the pumpkin, and that's done just by adding a little bit more flour to that paper mache clay recipe. And like I said before, I do have a full tutorial on how to do that, and it'll guide you along a lot easier. Now this is completely dry. It looks really good. I'm really happy with it, and solid. we are ready to now sand off any rough little bits and pieces that they might have from that clay. And I know a lot of you are probably saying, well, why didn't you just go to the craft store or the dollar store and just buy a pumpkin? That's a lot easier. But that's not the point of crafting. I find this really relaxing, and I'm creating a product that was taken from the recycling bin and made something new again and repurposed it. And I get a lot of satisfaction from that. And plus, this is adorable when it's all done, and nobody else is going to have another pumpkin that's going to look like this one. I've taken it outside and I'm giving it a spray of my matte black spray paint. Once it was dry, I brought it back into my shed. I'm getting out my orange acrylic paint. I've put it back on that little Lazy Susan so I can paint it and spin it around as I go. And I'm just going to give it one coat of that orange paint, not doing the stem. I'm going to leave the stem, but the whole body of the pumpkin with this orange acrylic paint. Ready to paint the stem, and I think I'm going to do some green. So I've got the acrylic paint and a little brush, and because I raised the edge of the stem a little bit with that paper mache clay, I'm going to paint right along that edge and then finish off that whole stem. And I really like adding that tin foil into it and giving it that extra shape that it looks like it came off of a vine. I don't want it to have that stark orange look, so I went out to my garden and I grabbed some dirt, and I'm just going to rub it all over this pumpkin, into all the nooks and crannies in the stem, and it's just going to give it that primitive look. And you can also use some cinnamon or some nutmeg or anything that's got a little bit of a darker color just to highlight some of those high edges. And once I was happy with that, I mixed a little bit of acrylic brown paint and water in a dish, and I'm just going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to go in all those grooves of the pumpkin and just highlight them so they just pop a little bit. Another nice thing about this project is when it's all done and it's sealed up properly, you can store it away and you can use it year after year, and it can become something that's part of your fall or Halloween decor, and such a fantastic craft to do with your kids or your grandkids also. I let it completely dry and then I took it outside, and I'm going to seal it all up with my polyacrylic sealer. This is a matte finish, and of course you can grab a matte or a gloss, whatever you're looking for your project. So root through your recycling bin, get out some plastic bags and some packing paper or newspaper, and create one of these pumpkins yourself. You're going to have a lot of fun with this project. Check out my video for the paper mache paste and paper mache clay, and you can create them today. I hope you enjoyed today's fall decor video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. And I've linked in the end screen my video to the paper mache paste and the paper mache clay. Thanks for watching.